XLR versus TRS, essentially basically the same thing, yet one of these might be ruining your guitar tone from your modeler. What's up, everyone? My name is Matthew Dale, and I'm here to help you play better, sound great, and understand more. And today we're going to be talking about the differences between hooking up our modeler, whether that's the Fractal Axe-FX3, FM9, FM3, or any modeler for that matter, hooking that up into a mixing console with either the XLR cable side of things or a TRS cable. Let's discuss. If you are using the Fractal Axe-FX3, FM9, or FM3, I've got a free gift for you. It is my Fractal Blocks library. You can find the link in the description box below, and you can check out some of my favorite tones for yourself. Also, something new for the channel, I recently picked up this Line 6 HX Stomp. I've never really tried one before. I've tried some of my friends and people that I know that use the Helix. I've tried their stuff before, but now I finally got my hands on my own. I also have a copy of Helix Native, so I'm going to start doing some HX Stomp and Helix videos on the channel as well. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, make sure you stay tuned to the channel as I check out some of this new equipment. So now, to be fair, this video isn't so much about the cables themselves. These basically do the same thing. We are moving balanced audio from one side to the next. But it does make a difference when we are plugging one of these ends into a mixing console. And for a lot of us that use our modelers in live situations where we're running to front of house directly into the mixing console, this could have pretty big effects to our overall guitar tone. Now, before we dive into some tones, I want to talk about my cable routing. I'm running out of my Axe-FX rack, plugging into the Axe-FX with XLRs on both sides, into output 1 and output 2, both stereo, and I'm running that into my Presonus Studio Live 16, my mixing console. I'm running output 1 into the desk using 1/4-inch cables, TRS, and then output 2 I am running into the XLR input. To make sure that everything is as even as possible, let's take a look at the setup. I'm running both output 1 and 2 in stereo, line level plus 4 dB, normal phase, and I am copying output 1. So the routing is all the same. The only thing that's going to be different is what cable end am I using to connect up to my desk. So I'm going to be using my PRS DGT on the bridge pickup on my Praise and Worship preset. Clean scene, it sounds like this. Or it sounds like this. I also checked my ADC levels coming out of the Axe-FX. They are both at 75% for output 1 and output 2, and my fader levels are exactly the same. So hopefully this comes across in YouTube land, but why do these sound different? And the difference that I'm hearing here in my studio is output 1 is much less compressed, it's more dynamic, it overall feels better. Output 2 feels smaller, it's more compressed, it doesn't feel as gratifying to play. And for whatever particular reason, it sounds actually a little bit quieter. Now, tonally speaking, they're probably not that different, but again, as guitar players, we talk about feel all the time. Output 2 definitely feels different than output 1. So what exactly is going on? Now, here's exactly where I'm plugged into my console. Output 2 is going to channels 13 and 14, and output 1 is going to channels 15 and 16. So 13 and 14 are getting XLR in, and then 15 and 16 are getting the TRS. And all 4 of these jacks are combo, so they're able to accept either TRS or 1/4-inch. But there is a big difference with what you plug into them. And that big difference I have highlighted here. The 1/4-inch TRS connectors bypass the gain stage. They bypass the mic preamp. So even though I'm running both of these stereo channels with no processing, I'm not doing any additional EQ or compression or anything, and both of these signal levels coming into my desk have no preamp trim set to them. But the big difference is on the XLR inputs, I am going through microphone preamp signals, even though that signal is set to 0 dB. And that's where we're getting this extra compression. Now, I'm going to play a little bit more, and I'm actually going to start boosting up the level trim a little bit. So one is going to be the mic preamp, and the other is going to be this more so digital line level trim. And I want you all to hear the effect that it has on our original guitar signal. So again, for reference, here is output 1. And here's output 2. And I'm going to go up in some various intervals here. So I'm going to add 6 dB of preamp boost. I brought the faders down to compensate. That's output 1, output 2. You can start to hear more of an effect. Output 2, or what is effectively going through the preamp signal in my desk, is starting to get a lot darker. And with the added gain from the line level signal, this actually feels a little bit brighter on output 1. Here's output 2 again. Let's go ahead and do 12 dB. Here's output 1. That's also showing a little bit of clipping. Let's do output 2. Output 1 again. Let's go ahead and do another 6. Let's do 18 dB. Now, my line level gain is almost maxed out. This desk can boost line level signals up to 20 dB, but the microphone preamp can go all the way up to 60 dB. So here we go again. Here's output 1 going in TRS. Both of these clipping indicators are lighting up red. I'm really clipping, but we're going to hear more clipping on the mic pre. And that's like the most awful sound. Microphone clipping in especially like a digital clipping is awful, but right now I'm clipping the microphone preamp in my digital console. Also doesn't sound good, and this is probably the worst thing that you can do to your guitar tone. Here's back to line level. Remember, both of these are clipping. But that's going in with the line inputs, the TRS. Now, I've gone ahead and I've maxed out the line input where I'm boosting the signal 20 dB, and I brought the microphone preamp up to 24. Here's what this sounds like now. Line. Still clipping, but not nearly clipping nearly as bad. Here's the microphone preamp. Just awful, right? I've got both of these set back down to 0 because that's just an awful tone. We don't want to have that tone live, right? And this isn't necessarily always the case with TRS or XLR. If we're going to like a pair of powered speakers, generally speaking, those will have XLR in line inputs. So this is really more about knowing the gear that you're plugging into as a guitarist and as an audio engineer. If you're running sound for a band and a guitar player is using a modeler, generally speaking, you want to have nothing on that channel to begin with. So no preamp gain, no EQ, and no compression. And then you can adjust EQ and compression to fit the space that you're in, but the signal coming from a modeler really shouldn't need any preamp gain. And if it does need preamp gain, there's probably something else at play that could be optimized better. And as basic or as self-explanatory as we might think that this should be, I actually run into this issue a lot when I set up to play live. It seems like kind of a recurring thing when I will get my modeler set up and have a clean tone and I hear awful microphone preamp distortion happening, and that's when I will usually try to communicate with the sound tech that, you know, it sounds like the level is up on the channel. Can you bring that level back down to 0? And nothing beats having really good and clear communication from guitar player to sound engineer. Even before I plug in any cables, I always communicate to my sound tech that I'll be coming to them line level +4 dBu. Sometimes that level is still too hot for certain consoles, so I may have to adjust accordingly. So knowing your gear and knowing how to make those adjustments really quick is something that's really good to know. Another big thing to watch out for is if you're in a situation where, you know, the previous guitar player, if you're in like a festival sort of situation, or if there was already an existing setup with an XLR going to a microphone that was miking a cab, that microphone is certainly going to have a certain amount of preamp gain on it and definitely going through a mic preamp. So make sure you communicate to your sound tech that this signal that you're sending them will be much hotter and not need any microphone preamping on it. I hope you all found this interesting and enlightening. Let me know if you had any similar experiences like this in the comments section below. Remember to download my Fractal Blocks Guide if you want some killer tones for your Axe 3, FM9, or FM3. My name is Matthew Dale. I'm here to help you play better, sound great, and understand more, and I will see you in the next video.